How's it going, Giants fans? Welcome back to Fireside Giants with your boy, Alex. And today we got Ali with me talking about some injury news and ranking the offensive weapons because there's a lot of them, and there's some that really make a significant impact. I was just writing about Daniel Jones, the $160 million man, and the first preseason action he had. You want to know what happened? 3 catches, 30 yards, straight down Waller to open the game. So I think that this offense is going to be heavily centered around Waller, Saquon Barkley, and the rest of these guys are going to be complementary pieces that really elevate everybody. Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, Wandale, Shep, Paris Campbell. There's so much talent here. So we're going to give us our rankings for them. But I want to dive into some injury news, right off the bat, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where the Giants are in that regard. And then also some important ones on the Dallas Cowboys side of things that you guys might be interested in. But Ali, before we dive into that, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm so excited because we finally have football today. So I know I'm bouncing off the roof. Pretty sure everybody else is. I'm excited to talk about actual offensive pieces that aren't Richie James and Marcus Johnson. So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I'm ready to dive in.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. We definitely upgraded there, so you don't have to worry about Marcus Johnson or Richie James. And Richie, like, you know what? If he didn't drop so many passes, I think he would have been a good player. And like that, I mean, ultimately, like you're a freaking receiver, so if you drop passes, like that's kind of not a good sign. But for now, Wandale's better, Shep is better, and Paris Campbell's definitely better. So I think we upgraded in that regard pretty nicely. But the injuries here, so the Giants, guys, I have some good news. The Giants are not injured going into the regular season for once. Last year, Kayvon Thibodeau was hurt. Guys were ailing. That was not where we wanted to be. And now we go into week 1 against Dallas fully freaking ready to rock. You have everybody healthy. Evan Neal is healthy, and Kayvon is healthy, and Azeez Ojulari is healthy. That's the first time in a while. And I feel like right now, I'm confident that this team can compete. Like I said the other day with Anthony on one of our other podcast shows, I was talking to a Dallas Cowboys fan recently. We got into a pretty heated argument, naturally, because I think that's kind of what we do. But I'll tell you what, he seems to believe not only did the Giants suck, but that the Dallas Cowboys got significantly better. I had to break it to him that what he's going to see on our Giants offense and defense is like nothing he's seen over the past couple of years. This offense is different. It's new. It's modern. It has weapons. The defense, you have some good cornerbacks now, young but good. You have a new linebacker. You have a healthy defensive front. They didn't even really see a healthy Leonard Williams last year, nor Ojulari, and we opened the year and we didn't even have Kayvon Thibodeau healthy altogether. So right now, you got everybody in flux. You got everybody in here. And now we can kind of put our best foot forward. So everybody, Wandale Robinson, all those guys that are coming off the physically unable to perform list are now healthy and ready to go. That's a really good sign. So looking at the Dallas Cowboys side of things, there's 2 players in mind I want to talk about, Tyler Smith and Donovan Wilson. So Tyler Smith, their left guard, he played left tackle last year. He was actually, I think, a late-round draft pick. It's not an undrafted player. I think he was a late-round draft pick, though. Ultimately, actually, am I wrong about that? Maybe he was a first-round pick last year. Let me actually look at this really quickly. He was a first-round pick. Yeah, so he was not a late-round pick. He was a first-round pick last year. He played left tackle for them, 1,118 snaps, and only 154 at left guard. So he's transitioning to the left guard position full-time now. And they have Tyron Smith back. Obviously, that's their staple. That's their guy. But Tyler Smith is no pushover. He had some really good seasons as a rookie last year, and personally, I feel as though the Giants can take advantage of this because he may not play. He has a hamstring injury. So, Ali, when you're looking at this interior defensive line, if they have a backup guard in there, how excited are you to see Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams kind of take advantage of that?
Well, I'm excited for that. I know we're going to see a lot of sexy Dexy sack dances. It's so easy for him to take advantage of that, to get into Dak Prescott. I've said I'm not worried about the Cowboys multiple times. I'm not really too scared of their offense at all. If I'm worried about anybody, it's Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. But I'm confident enough in this defense that we're going to stop their plays. Dak Prescott does not scare me. I do feel like he's due for some interceptions. He's definitely going to get sacked. So, yeah, not something that I'm scared of. I think we're going to go in there, we're going to beat Dallas, and a lot of Dallas fans are going to be shocked because I feel like everybody's viewing us as an underdog at this point. So,
They were 3.5 points down, right? So you look at Dallas, like, what did they really add, right? So they got Zach Martin back, who's been their stable for a long time. They may be without a left guard, or at least they're starting left guard. They got Brandon Cooks, still have Michael Gallup, CD Lamb. They have good receivers, but I feel like Dak Prescott is turnover prone. That's one of the things about him that, like, if you put pressure on Dak Prescott, if you make him run, if you make him confused, and that's what Wink Martindale's system does to people, it confuses them. And they lost Dalton Schultz, their top tight end. So, who knows how they're going to be without him, without all those guys that they've had in the past that have just been so good. Now you put extra pressure on him. That offensive line, if we can beat that offensive line, we're going to be in good shape. Like, that's where, but it's going to come down, I think, to Dexter Lawrence, that interior pressure, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence. If we can beat up Tyler Biadasz, I don't even know how to say his last name. If you know, let me know. But then their right guard, obviously, Zach Martin's elite. He's one of the best, if not the best in the game. So pressure Dak, confuse him, hopefully our man coverage holds up, watch the deeper portions of the field. I think they're going to take a couple shots against us because you got rookies, right? You got Dante Banks, you got Trey Hawkins. They're going to take some shots, but that's where Xavier McKinney comes into play. And also our freak athletes, like Hawkins runs a 4.3. Like, Deontay Banks is one of the most athletic cornerbacks in the history of tracking athletic cornerbacks. So I think that's a good sign for them. But, let's take a look at our offense and start to rank some of these players here. So, Allie, who's the number? I'll give you, name your top 5 offensive weapons.
Okay. Could be controversial. I have Darren Waller as my number one. I feel like he's going to be a huge part of our offense. I think just his arrival changes our whole offense completely, and it helps open up Saquon Barkley, who I have at number 2. And then also another offensive weapon that I feel like people don't view him as an offensive weapon almost is our quarterback. I think our quarterback is going to be one of our main offensive weapons. I have Slayton being a big guy for us as well as Jalen Hyatt. So those are my 5 guys right now.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Daniel Jones, and as an offensive weapon, of course, he's feeding the rock to them. But I think a lot of people forget that he's one of the best running quarterbacks in the league, and he averages a lot of yards on the ground. They're going to confuse opposing defenses because they're going to get the RPOs in, they're going to get the play action, they get the quarterback runs in, and everything about Daniel Jones's game is going to create confusion, and I think they're going to let him rock this year. They're going to let him go, let that creative nature take over, that instinctive nature take over. Last year was more structured because they were trying to operate a scheme that did not work because their receivers were not capable. Saquon Barkley was doing his best, but they were stacking the box. And late in the season, he just, he was already injured a little bit. So I think now that they have a little bit more weaponry, too many guys to keep track of, now you're going to see Daniel Jones get to be more instinctive and create things off the run, off the go. And I think that's going to open up this offense a lot. It's going to really help us take some steps forward. I think he can throw on the run. We've seen him do it. He's actually getting better with the arm angles, like Patrick Mahomes. Now he's not Patrick Mahomes, we get that clear, but he does have some traits in terms of his mobility. But I'll say my number one guy is Darren Waller this year because I think the Giants are going to go with a more pass-happy offense. I think that's the trend they've been trying to go in for a really long time, and I think they're finally going to do it. Like, Saquon Barkley is my number 2 guy, and he's right behind Waller, but I think that the Giants are probably going to have like a 65-35 split when it comes to passing and running the football. So, with that being said, Saquon's the only guy running the ball for the most part, so that he's going to get 30% of those touches. But I think Waller gets a lot of action here. I think that he's already developing essential chemistry with Daniel Jones, and that is going to spill over into the regular season. So I do believe that Waller is going to be a focal point. They're going to be scheming up a lot, and you saw it in the preseason, that touchdown to Daniel Bellinger. That only happened because their defensive backs followed Waller into the end zone. And that type of attention that he commands opens up opportunities for everybody else. They're going to confuse defenses. We just saw a glimpse into what they're trying to accomplish. Now we start to, see what they do in a live setting. So I'm excited to see that. So I have, Waller, Saquon as my first 2. My number 3 guy, actually I'm gonna go with Darius Slayton on this one. I think Darius Slayton's kind of being slept on a little bit this offseason. We spoke to Drew Lieberman, his wide receiver coach, and they've been working a lot trying to improve his hands, improve his play speed. And he was phenomenal during camp. People forget. Everyone's focused on Jalen Hyatt. Everyone's focused on Darren Waller. Darius Slayton had a great camp. He did not drop many passes. He was making catches downfield. He was getting open. I think that low-key, and he's one of the only guys on this team that has a really great chemistry with Daniel Jones over a prolonged period of time. I think Slayton's going to quietly impress a lot of people. And I think he's going to earn that 2-year, $12 million deal that he got. So I like that. I think that number 4, I'm going to go I'll say this. If Wan'Dale Robinson was healthy, I think he would be that 4 spot, but because he's not, I'm actually going to go with Sterling Shepard. I think Sterling Shepard, again, the most
Wow.
tenured Giant. The most tenured Giant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Sterling Shepard is one of our most reliable pass catchers when he's healthy. He can play inside, he can play out. He's a red
That's
zone
true.
threat. He on the goal line, they feed him the rock, and he knows the offense. And he's gained the trust of the coaching staff and of Daniel Jones, and he's looked really good this summer. So I do believe that Sterling Shepard actually will emerge as one of our best players once again, as long as he's healthy. Maybe that's a hot take, but I do think that he's still got gas left in the tank. And then for my 5th guy, I think I'm going to go with Jalen Hyatt, because I can't leave Jalen Hyatt off this list. That speed, he looks like he's ice skating. You know what I mean? When he goes downfield, he is so fast, so brisk with his stride. I do believe that when Daniel Jones starts to figure him out a little bit, his tendencies, the timing of his routes, there's going to be a lot of chemistry going on there. There's going to be a lot of opportunity. And you have Slayton and Campbell, and you have Hyatt's speed on the boundary. You have to have defensive backs deep at all times. If you're Dallas, how do you play man coverage against these guys? Because if you're playing, cover 1 and you have a safety in the defensive backfield, you have one safety back there, and you're playing man coverage on the outside, that safe. If I'm Daniel Jones, I'm eyeing one of those receivers, and then I'm swapping sides and launching as far as I can, because if you could throw out that safety a little bit, one of those two guys is going to be wide open, as long as you can get the ball out in front. So if I'm Dallas, I'm probably playing a lot of cover 3, meaning that you're trying to put a lot of your defensive backs deeper and automatically getting back into the deeper portions of the defensive backfield, just so that you can protect the deep ball. But what does that do for your offense? If you're playing cover 3, now it opens up a lot of crossing concepts, dig routes. Daniel Jones is phenomenal with dig routes. So if you have guys cutting across the middle of the field, Darren Waller, that's basically all he did in that first drive. Crossed the middle of the field, was wide open every time. If you're manning him up, you can't stop him. And if you're playing zone, he's going to find a gap. You just got to throw into the right spaces. So, Allie, when you're looking at this offense, how do you think that the deeper portions, like Jalen Hyatt's speed, Slayton's speed, how much more explosive do you think this offense is going to be?
10 times more explosive. I think for 2 years in a row, we were ranked dead last in explosive plays for over 20 plus yards, which is very sad. I think most of it came from our inconsistent pass rush. To be honest, I feel like if Daniel Jones doesn't have time to throw the ball and he's getting sacked 41 times as he did last season, you can't make those plays. But taking the offensive line and the protection out of the equation, I guess, having guys that can make big plays is super, super, super important. I feel like we've had receivers drop balls so many times, and it makes it hard to even want to throw deep. But now having guys you can depend on, like Hyatt, like Slayton, you're going to be more inclined to just throw the ball. And tripping over my words here. In regards to Hyatt, not just his speed or his skill set, I'm going to go into who he is as just a player first. I think we've seen in the preseason he had a really tough drop, and then he was just able to come back and make up for it and got that touchdown, which I think is super important. And it's nice to see that stuff like that doesn't affect him either. So I'm just excited. That's what I can say. Excited to see these receivers take off and actually get deep down the field and for Daniel Jones to throw the ball. That's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, Daniel Jones has the arm talent. We know this. We know that Daniel Jones is capable of getting the ball downfield in a hurry, and he's not so much of like a rainbow passer. He throws laser beams, and I think that's where Darren Waller comes into play, Bellinger, and like that's another guy, Bellinger, like don't forget about him. He's going to be a big piece of this offense as not only a run blocker, but a guy that releases a security blanket for DJ because of the attention. Like, look, and I keep saying this, and I think it's worthwhile discussing, is that if you're an opposing defense and you have to manage Waller and Saquon Barkley, you have to have 2 sets of eyes at all times on Saquon because he's going to be running routes this year, and you have to have 2 sets of eyes on Darren Waller because you cannot leave him one-on-one in coverage. You're going to get burned, right? Now, you have to have your free safety, who if you have boundary receivers in Jalen Hyatt and Darius Slayton, and you're running goes down the deep sides of the field, your safety now has to have his eyes are now looking at those 2 guys, right? So now you've already taken away multiple sets of eyes, and now you're forgetting about Bellinger, who's going to release. You're forgetting about our slot receivers. You're forgetting about the idea that Daniel Jones can run the football. And basically, if you're an opposing defense, your entire game plan is put pressure on Daniel Jones and force him to make quick decisions. But if the Giants can succeed in moving the chains with their short to intermediate passing game, and opposing defenses are now realizing, like, okay, we can't stack the box, we can't send extra guys. We need our front four to win the battles, right? We need our front four guys to win the battles. You're now going to have a lot of time for Daniel Jones to wait for these routes to develop. And with the creativity that Mike Kafka and Brian Dable are installing, opposing defenses are going to have a hard time nonetheless trying to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
So right now, I feel as though if I'm Dallas, I'm thinking we need Micah Parsons to Marcus Lawrence to hit home. That's the key to their game plan against the Giants offense. If they overwhelm our offensive line, they can do what they've done to us for years, and that's beat us up. But if we get the ball out quickly, if we get the ball out with blockers in front, if we start to draw in those defensive backs and then hit them with the long shots, attack the seams, those upfield quickly, we have the speed to do it now. In the past, we didn't have the speed. In the past, we had Marcus Johnson, we had Richie James. These guys aren't that fast. Now you got Jalen Hyatt and Darius Slayton on the outside, and you can't just, if you're a free safety, you can't only look at Darius Slayton now. You had to look at Jalen Hyatt, who's going to absolutely toast whatever cornerback is on the outside there in 1v1 coverage. So if I'm Daniel Jones, all I got to do is drop back and make sure, like, if we're kind of hitting those short intermediate concepts and doing it effectively, drop back, those defensive backs start to bite in, then you're going to have your shots over the top. So I'm pretty excited to see it. It's going to be really fun to watch this Giants offense take another step forward, add another layer to the foundation, because we've already, he's comfortable. Like, Daniel Jones had a good camp. That's what Brian Dable said. He had a good camp. And we haven't actually heard Dable say many good things. Like, just, he hasn't really been actively, like, promoting Daniel Jones. He's been more so, like, keep letting him show it and not say the words. Like, I think Brian Dable, in my opinion, is more of like a actions speak louder than words guy. He's not going to come out and like, oh, this guy's amazing, that guy's great, Daniel Jones looks like a franchise quarterback. That's not what he wants to do. He wants these guys to go out in the field, earn the right for the media to do the work for them and promote those narratives, not for him to have to say it. And the fact that he came out and said, like, he had a good camp means he had a really good camp. Like, they are impressed with Daniel Jones. So that's where I kind of draw the line and say, all right, like, now he said something good. That should be taken more seriously than I think a lot of people are giving credit for. So I'm excited to see how it translates, guys. But always happy to hear your thoughts in the comments section. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.